Well, welcome, Liu Changhong. I'm really happy to have you as an advisor on Bloom and also to um, interview you this evening and share your story. I think there's going to be a lot of things that our audience can take away from your journey. So, welcome.
Thank you.
And we'll start tonight by I want to read your formal bio. Just to give everyone a high level overview, but then I'm going to turn it over to you to really put the story more into your own words as far as the highlights of your career and your life. So Liu Changhong has 18 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry, where she has had various roles and responsibilities across local, regional, and global remits in commercial, procurement, external sourcing, supplier management, compliance, and supply chain management. Liu Changhong has lived and worked in her home country of China, as well as in Europe and the US over the past 20 plus years, and has built and developed ample and unique experiences while she explored her career and life. She is also keen and active in developing women's leadership, coaching, and mentoring skills through various courses and programs. She's now living in the Washington, D.C. area and serves as co-lead of the Asian Cultural Employee Resource Group in her current company. So again, welcome.
Thanks, all. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I would love to hear a little bit of your perspective on maybe the highs and lows of this journey, right? And living in multiple countries and navigating your career.
Yeah, the journey has been absolutely very unique and amazing for me to be able to live and also study in different countries or even in different continents. Yeah, and especially in the past 5 years after I relocated from Shanghai to the DC area, you can imagine the change and also the pressure around me, especially when I had an 8 years old boy who relocated with me together. And it's been a very, I would say, it's challenging but quite smooth journey for me to
What?
experience the past 5 years.
So five
Sorry?
years ago. So that was 2018 that you moved here?
Right,
2018?
I was 18.
Okay. So yeah, so you went through the pandemic
Yes,
here with your son.
yeah,
Wow. So I'm sure
that
that
was
was
the
very,
fun.
yeah, very complicated. Was it just the two of you here during that time? Were you all
Yeah,
alone?
just two of us. And because of travel restrictions and the quarantines, it was really not possible to meet each other as a family. So that was really the hard time. But if I thought about it, I think that 3 years were just gone like that. And the
Yeah.
people just don't want to look back. But it was different experience. And
Hmm.
it was very hard as a kind of in theory, single mom, and I had a very busy job to do as well because you can imagine the supply interruptions during the pandemic. It was devastating and very, very challenging.
How do you feel that you got through that time? Like, where did you draw your strength from? Were you
Mhm.
able to, connect with family virtually, or, how did you sort of get through that time just with your son?
Well, we tried different things, right? First of all, we got a pandemic hat. So that was a very smart decision because my son is a single child of the family. So he got a very good suite company to hang out with a cat. And well, from work, actually, I got a lot of strength from work from talking to people, and we had a very very engaging and caring team during the pandemic. So we met with team virtually twice a week, and we talk about especially life and the stories we want to share. And sometimes during the pandemic, could you imagine some of the stories could be very hard and even hilarious, right? So that gives me a lot of energy because I actually get energies from talking to people. So that was the best team I ever could have during the pandemic. And for my son, it was even challenging because schools were closed, and yeah, I tried to spend more time with him and did a lot of outdoor activities and even unlock some of the skills that we couldn't have before the pandemic. For example, we bought a kayak. We did kayak during the pandemic. and we try to crab and even fish.
Wow.
So that's my curiosity that actually gave me a lot of energy
Hmm.
for me to learn different things and to be really resilient.
Yeah, for sure. Let's rewind a little bit though. Before you came to the US in 2018,
Mhm.
um, were you working in China right before you came to the US?
Yeah,
Okay.
I worked in China in the past, I think, 12 years because I started my career in 2006
Okay.
and I came here in 2018. So it was about 12 years I spent
Okay.
in China.
And what made you want to take that leap to,
Mm.
and tell us a little bit about, why you wanted to do it, and then how long did it take once you decided I really want to work in a different country? What was sort of your process to actually make that happen?
Yeah, if I look back, I could actually figure out the seed was planted already by the time I graduated. Because I studied in both China and the Netherlands for my graduate and postgraduate degrees. And I really wanted to see the world. And I'm a very curious person. So after graduation, I went back to China and I kind of regret for that because I thought I would have got a better job in the Netherlands if I didn't go back. So I think that was a driver to really fill in the gap and also to experience working in a different country, plus studying in a different country. I thought it would be really different experience for me to try that. And also after I got a son, I think it will really help him to broaden his mindset and also the experience for him to really find out what is best life for her, not for her, for him, sorry, in the future. So I would say it's curiosity driven and also it's about risk taken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can identify, or I can um uh what's the word? Not empathize. I'm trying to look for a word. I had a similar situation where I, wanted to work in another country, and it really does. It completely changes your mindset and broadens your perspective. And I was also able to bring my children, and that was, it changed their life. They changed the trajectory of their life. So I resonate with you. I guess that's the word I was looking for. Um, so you were working in China, and you knew really early on in your career, okay, this is something, if it ever becomes available, I want to do that.
Mhm.
What were the steps that you took? Did you have to, sign up for a certain program? Did you just
Mhm.
kind of tell different managers that this is something that you wanted to do, or how did you make it happen?
Well, I think it happened both ways. First of all, I didn't know exactly what kind of roles or even functions I wanted to be
Mm,
in various stages in my career. But what I did know was that I would like to spend time, learn in a global function. That was it.
okay.
Because I think my strength is the language and communication. So I thought any title with account would be a good fit for me. So that was really, back in the 18 years, that was in my mind. And I was seeking for a global role with kind of account in the title. So because I knew that was my strength.
Hmm.
And how did I make it happen? I talked to my line managers, and I think I've been really lucky enough to have a lot of very great people who really care about your development and who also create opportunities for you alongside my journey. So all of my line managers, the coaches I have, mentors, and also other women leaders in network because I've been attending different programs within AZ and outside of my company to build network and also to even hear stories, from others that do encourage me. So it didn't happen without a very strong motivation. It
Hmm.
didn't happen without a very clear mind to pursue for development.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make it happen. It's not something that happens to you, but it's
Mm-hmm.
something that you participate in. And like you said, it takes other people's support though.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it takes, the right managers, the right, network to help.
Yeah.
What do you think about, can you share with us some of the challenges of trying to raise a child alone while you're working? And I know that your husband's in China, correct? And
Yes.
sometimes your
Yeah.
son is able to go back, and sometimes
Hmm.
your husband's able to come here. So
Yeah.
you're a non-traditional single mother because you do have a partner, but tell us a little bit about, when you're here in the US alone with your son, what are some of those challenges and how have you been able to overcome those,
Hmm.
just the balancing of your work and
Yeah.
your motherhood?
Right. I think the challenge is I would mention 2 points. The first one is about workload. Yeah,
Mhm.
because my role is global roles. I need to start very early in the morning, need to cook, housekeeping, everything, right? Drop off my son and pick him up. So really, we only have 24 hours in a day. So it can be very challenging. And yeah, I just need to accommodate a lot of meetings that I need to take from the car or even from the parking lot. So, and also, I ask my son to support me because he knows the situation and he can be more independent and even cook for me. So it's a training journey for himself as well.
Yeah.
And this is about really the workload from the work and from life. It can be
Mhm.
really challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love that you're having him participate in the
Yeah.
process with you though, because he's gaining life skills.
Yes.
So,
And yeah, but this is really one side of coin that can be really challenging, and you can overcome it by sleeping less, for example, right? It can be managed. Another challenge is about you only have a good cop, bad cop, which is combined with one person at home, and we don't have a male figure, especially going through the teenager, the puberty. So that was, I think, the most challenging thing I've gone through, to be honest.
mhm.
And during the pandemic, that made things even worse.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure.
You know, right?
So
But I
did
have my own way to manage it.
mhm.
So I think it went out to be okay because we have a lot of support from the network. For example, from the church, from the Boy Scout activities, from the sport team. He registered, so that was fill in the gap activities. I seeked for him.
Yeah, that's the power of community, right? Like, and it sounds like you've built several communities around you,
Mhm.
to get through these challenging times with him. And I think he's just going to be a very resilient young man from going through the pandemic with you, just the two of you and a cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really nice.
Thank you.
How about, you mentioned that you are helping to lead the Asian Employee Resource Group in your current organization. Is Have you found that to be another um, area that you get support in life, or is that more focused on career?
It's definitely not career related at the moment, but more about giving back to the network, to the Pan Asian society in the US. Because I'm leading the Asian culture resource. It's called Employee Resource Group, ERG in short, in the
Mhm.
company I work in. And I was put into that group because I have been very, very active in volunteering and participating in those activities. And I feel the mission on my shoulder even, right? Because when I see people who need help and who need to find a job or who need to find another opportunity to develop in their career, I feel there are a lot from me that I can share, I can support. So I think by joining that group, I can enlarge my network so I can talk to more people. And in parallel, I can also learn from others.
That's really wonderful. I mean, it's great when you've been helped and then you want to reach back and help others. So that leads me to my next question. If our audience is women in Asian countries and that are aspiring to leadership positions. So, what is some advice that you would give, especially around positions in international companies and global roles, even working abroad? What's your best advice that you would give to those women that are seeking these opportunities?
Well, my advice would be stay curious. I think that's number one of the things that will make things happen because you'll be very curious to seek for more information, more knowledge, and more development opportunities in your career. And also take risks because I think the risks are and the benefits they kind of come along with each other. And if you don't take risks, if you don't invest, it's really difficult to get the benefit out of it. Yeah, I think those are the very important two pieces of advice I would give. And other than that, I think you just don't underestimate yourself. And I think that's quite normal for especially Asian females to think about that way.
Mhm.
And if you or underestimate yourself, that will be a really hurdle for you to seek for more opportunities, even though you think you still have a gap. But if you don't have a gap, right, you will be in that position already. So you just need to trust yourself and be authentic and articulate your aspirations in career development into the organization. So somewhere, someone will hear you.
Yes, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you said don't underestimate yourself, I think, you know, a lot of women, I don't think it's just in Asian countries, but a lot of women maybe come into roles and are downplaying what makes them unique, right? So just trying to sort of blend in and be what everyone else around them is being. But I think that each person, male, female, it doesn't matter. It brings a unique skill set, brings personality, brings experience, culture. So I think the more we can be genuine to who we are rather than trying to be like everyone else, this is actually our advantage, right? To be our unique self.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think authentic and to be genuine has
Hmm.
been I think one of the key factors to a successful career.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
What?
only in development, you cannot hide from your true aspiration.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you think about, when you've interviewed for roles or just like had career discussions with people, what have you highlighted about yourself as unique? Like, what have you been able to say, this is what makes me
Mhm.
different and a right fit for this?
Right. I think in one of the women programs called Women as Leaders, we were told to create our own branding.
Hmm.
I think that's very powerful for us to think about really one sentence, what makes you different,
Yeah.
right? So I think for me, something was like, I'm small in stature, but I deliver big message, something like that.
I
Yeah,
love
because
that.
you cannot see it from here, I'm short. So yeah, and I think other than that, I think my advantage I will share with people are like I'm very uh, good in communicating and influencing others. And I also have a very multinational background. I know different cultures, and I'm curious, and I'm a very fast learner.
That's wonderful. You
And of
definitely know
course,
yourself.
yeah, of course, a
Yeah.
lot of people in Asia we work very hard.
Yeah. But it's really refreshing to hear you talk about, you know yourself and you're able to communicate that and not feel shy about it or,
Mhm.
embarrassed. It's not like you're bragging, you're just speaking the truth about who you are and what you bring to the table. So I really feel like that's so refreshing to hear.
Yeah, and one more thing which is important and also very interesting to mention is about the power of insensitivity.
Hmm.
And there's a book about the power of insensitivity written by a Japanese writer. So I didn't realize it until recent. If I look back about how could I be, in the position where we are today, was really because of the insensitivity I had in my life. Because you mentioned about people may think you are bragging, people may criticize you, people may be jealous on you. So I just let go. I think that's important power for people to have. Is about the wisdom and also the attitude towards life. Right? You can talk about your life, but I just want to be myself, and yeah, sometimes to be insensitive is not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm.
Well, I think it's, should be very clear to everyone why we wanted you to be one of our advisors. I just think you bring such a great perspective and experience. My final question for you is what interests you in working with us at Bloom?
Well, you reached out to me, Don, right? So I thought it would be a very, very good platform for me to share my experience and help others. I think 18 or 20 years into my career is about the time I could help others because I got a lot of support from people alongside the way and from my network. I think it was about give and take. This is about time to give, and especially for women leadership and also the Pan Asian network. I feel like, as I mentioned, a mission on my shoulder to really give out to the extent that I can. And I'm sure maybe into 20 or 30, 40 years into my career, if I go that long, I will have more to tell.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate it. I think, it's definitely a theme throughout your life of giving back, and we just really appreciate that you're willing to do that with us too. So, thank you for your time, and I'm just really looking forward to continuing to partner with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.